Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. I'm RyJo. That's AJ. That's Eric. Oh, hang on. I think I'm getting a phone call. No, this isn't even the right side of the phone. Hang on.
This is a good bit.
Hello? Yes, Dr. Dubs. Yes, I would like to get my prescription for vitamin W. You can fill it today? Great. Thank you. I'll be in touch. 4-0 win for the Avs over the Chicago Blackhawks. AJ's on 60-second rundown duty today, so whenever the clock is ready, AJ's going to pop off. Boo.
I'll do a 22-second rundown. No, I'm cool with that. Let's do it.
Avs win.
And
don't take my bet, man. So the Avs and Blackhawks played a game.
they sure did.
It was a beatdown.
It sure was.
The Avs treated the Blackhawks like they treated the Sharks, but without all the goaltending.
Yeah.
It went pretty well. Things got going with a shorthanded goal once again from Logan O'Connor.
It's true.
Which was cool. Everybody liked that. And then Ryan Johansson got a power play goal, so that was cool. Everybody liked that as well. Period 1, total domination. That was fun. Period 2, more total domination. Devon Toews scores into a wide open net on a nice pass from Val Nichushkin. Peter Mrazek was big mad and thought that he'd been interfered with, but it was really more of the defense that did the interfering than anybody else. And then Nathan MacKinnon scored a cool goal in the third period from new line mate Tomas Tatar. Made it 4-0. Alexander Georgiev had a pretty easy shutout, and here we are.
Boom. Easy like that. Easy like that.
Golf
Eric,
clap. Golf
Eric,
clap.
that's how it's done.
Golf clap. Please.
I mean, let's be real. Colorado treated Chicago the way they were supposed to tonight, right? This is the outcome everyone was looking for from Colorado's side. And it felt pretty darn routine in a lot of ways to me. Yeah, maybe the start a little bit slow, right? Avs getting outshot 7-3, like 8 minutes into this game. Is there?
And then what happened?
Yeah,
And then what
we'll get
happened?
there.
How did that age?
I want to talk concerns first, but look, there are very few players I think you're talking about had an actively bad game tonight for Colorado.
For my money, there wasn't one.
I think that's a fair statement. But there's always things you can improve on. Maybe with like a little bit of a more involved start.
Yeah, giving up a partial breakaway to slow-ass Nick Foligno right off the hop is probably not part of what the game plan was, but it was pretty fun.
Once Georgiev saved it, it was plenty of fun.
It was a great save by Georgiev, and
Who was awesome tonight. We'll talk about him later.
we only had to make one more real save after that, and then
There
we were
were
good.
like a couple decent saves in there.
Get out of here. Go home.
The only other thing I'd say, please stop taking dumb penalties. I know that right now your penalty kill is as efficient at scoring as your power play is, but that's not going to last forever.
Maybe they told Miles Wood to go run into Mrazek so they could get some more work in on it. Try
We
a
need
few more
another
guys.
one. Give us some more action.
Action.
But, very, very few negative things to say about this hockey game on the whole. You get into it with that penalty kill. The Avs get the first goal of the game. An interesting play. We talked about it a lot on the watch along. Mm-hmm. Is that Connor Bedard's welcome to the NHL moment?
It's certainly one of them, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's just Eric, we were talking about this a lot. I imagine you'll have more to say about it when we get into Bedard's bad night here, but that is a learning experience of you can get away with stuff like that in junior because you're just more skilled. But in the NHL against guys who are, one, really, really good hockey players, and two, ace penalty killers in particular, you saw what happened. Ryan Donato put his head down, had predetermined what he was going to do, and against good penalty killers, that's not going to fly. Josh Manson sees that, steps in, takes advantage of it, and then from there, it's just Cogliano and LOC making an easy play. Bedard pinches in, has no effect on anything, and LOC has the cleanest break. I mean, that thing looked like a penalty shot.
Straight up.
There's nobody else within
The closest
a
guy to him
meaningful
is
distance apart.
Cogliano, who's
Yeah.
that's nearly a 2-on-0, really.
The distance between the people was not as close as I am to Tiff right now.
For real.
So it was not close. And then he does a great job. He just finishes.
Yep.
He's 2 for 2 on those breakaways. And what's he done?
Forehand, baby.
No backhand. No backhand.
Eric,
Shoot the puck.
I mean, what's the vibe like on a penalty kill like that? Are those guys going into that thinking they're going to score on every penalty kill right now, or is that just a hey, this is a bonus if it goes our way type?
Well,
thing?
yeah, because you don't want to get scored on right
Of
now.
course.
I mean, obviously they're what are they batting 1,000, right? So you want to keep going. And I think LOC talked about it this morning. I want to say about last year that one bad night was it 4 for 4 against or something like that. It was something crazy, and then all of a sudden you're on a small sample. You're just chasing it, and you're chasing it for 20, 25 games to get back to to normal, right? Normal numbers. So I think it's important. They talk about it during meetings. They talk about it at practice, and you got to take pride in the penalty killing. And those guys that are on it take pride. You can see that those guys are doing that exactly, and that's why they're being successful. And then obviously it's a cookie when you get a goal, right? But when you got speed, guys like that on the PK there, LOC, you're gonna get goals. I mean, somewhere, somehow, you're gonna find goals. You're gonna. Grant Fuhr in Edmonton back then, I think, as a goalie, had like 14 assists, short-handed one year, just flipping the puck, and guys were going. So they have so much speed that it's fun to watch right now, and it's fun to see that there's a big element that they're being rewarded for it, and it's nice, and it's a big part of a hockey game. So it's kind of exciting to see the Avs PK right now. That's definitely been a huge asset in those 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's been literally better than perfect. So hard to have any faults really there, and honestly, hard to have any faults with the Avs special teams as a whole. As it's RyJo who comes through and gets the Avs their second goal of the game on the power play. A bit of a greasy one, but we said it before the game. Chicago really should be a bit of a get-right team. Is this a springboard for someone like RyJo?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, and especially we talked about him being not very good on the power play. Where does he get that goal?
On the power
And
play.
where does he get that goal in particular? On the ice. It's
Directly
not-
in front of the net.
It's
Yeah.
not a pretty shot. It's not, that's the area where we talked about in the offseason when they got him that he's going to help them. Because the Avs could not score very many goals last year in
They
that area
struggled
of the
net front
ice.
for sure. Yep.
And that's just RyJo just outworked the guy.
Yep.
I don't remember which guy it was. I don't know which future AHLer it is.
I couldn't tell you.
He just outworks him.
Gets
And-
multiple whacks at it, picks it out of
and
midair.
It's a
yeah.
nice play because it is fluttering in the air, and he's still taking hacks at it, gets a piece of it, and it goes into the net. It's well earned for him.
Yep.
Listen, he scored that power play goal in preseason as well, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, he, if you remember that game, I don't think MacK was playing. I don't think Mikko was playing, right? So he was more one of the guys they were targeting to give the puck to. Let's face it, when you got Kale, you got MacK, you got Mikko, you're probably not going to be the guy that's going to get the puck, to shoot it in. But you're going to be the guy that's going to be screening the goalie, tipping pucks, or getting rebounds like he did tonight and doing it perfectly where all of a sudden he's a big body.
Yep.
We all know that's his speed is not his thing. You know what I mean? But if he can help with faceoffs and if he can help with the power play and he can help with the second line, getting some production somewhere, somehow at 5-on-5, then the acquisition is great.
Well, and I think after the first 2 games of the year where you're kind of looking at that second line and going, I'm not really sure if this is working. You have that second line doing a lot of good things, whether it's RyJo on a power play.
Yeah,
We'll get to the Taves goal in a second. It's really just effective hockey all the way around from Colorado, from certainly 5 of their top 6 guys. We'll talk about Drouin Tatar situation too in a little bit. Before I do, though, I wanted to get to AJ's point about Bedard and really Chicago in general. After putting up 8 shots in the first 10 minutes of the game, they get none in the second half of the first period.
Mm-hmm. Came up 19 shots in a row.
Yeah.
Before they recorded their next one.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So just real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
But they had the 7-3 lead
Yep,
in shots on
shots,
goal. And from that point, are you ready for this?
Am I?
They got outshot 38-11.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's 50 minutes of hockey. They get outshot 38-11, essentially.
That's shots on goal.
Yeah,
Remember
not
the other day?
attempts. Yeah.
Remember the other day when we talked about that period? This is just reinforcing that third period in San Jose.
Yeah.
Where shot attempts were 42-10.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Outrageous
It's
numbers.
part of what I was saying. I mean, I keep going right now, but
No.
it was part of what
That
I
was
was
just all I
saying
wanted to say.
before the game when I said the 3 keys. It is a fact. You come home from that road trip. It's tough. It's tough to play that game, and the start is always sluggish. And I say even or better. That's what they were talking about. Even though it's their home opener, even or better. That's where Georgiev makes that big play against my guy Nick Foligno. Slow, but my guy. And then Georgiev.
He's old,
I
man.
know.
Like,
I'm kidding.
you know.
You got to give some love to somehow a local kid. But it was awesome to see that he was there to make the big saves. But it is a tough way to start a game when you've been coming on home at 4 a.m. 2 days before. But after that, the energy of the crowd, the energy of the home opener, the energy from the save from Georgiev. Next thing you know, you get yourself on the board, then you just take over a game, and then it just kind of clicks in. But if you fall behind, it's a different game. It's a different game because you might be doing things that you don't want to, and all of a sudden you're opening up. Because the Avs got their opportunities. The Avs get their opportunities when they play a tight checking game in their own end. They play a tight checking game in a neutral zone. And you hear Bednar talk about it in his press conferences after games all the time. But that's how you win championships, and that's how you get your best offense comes from your best defense. So if you're doing it right in your own end, and you can, Connor Bedard probably took a little bit of a lesson tonight on that. You know what I mean? If you're playing, and Nate McKinnon took him a few years to figure that one out, right? And it does. And this league is deadly. But the Avs are a championship caliber team, and once they do that, even though they had a bad start, things fell their way, including saves. Then they get their legs, and then they're just deadly. It's fun to watch.
Just some numbers.
Yeah.
He's got a smile on.
First period, scoring chances were 8-7
So it's fairly even.
in favor of the Avalanche.
Yeah.
High danger chances were 5-1 in favor of Chicago.
That's where Georgiev.
Chicago had 1 high danger chance the rest of the game.
That sounds about right.
And 8 scoring chances the rest of the game at 5v5.
So a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, so they had 7 scoring chances in the first period. I would posit probably in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, for the most
That's
part.
where Georgia was great.
Yeah, and then 8 scoring chances. So just for frame of reference here, because I know I say these numbers and I'm like, be impressed by these. These are impressive.
Oh,
but
it is.
your average NHL team at 5v5, just in the middle of the road, the 16th place team, will average right in the neighborhood of about 21, 22
Yeah.
scoring chances in a game at 5v5.
Yep.
The
Avs
gave
held
up
Chicago well under that.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, 15. Only 30 shot attempts against. That's nothing. 30 shot attempts in almost 47 minutes of 5v5 time.
That's because you got the puck.
You've got nothing at that point.
That is
You've got
extremely minimal.
That's domination.
Including 0 shot attempts for Connor Bedard. Operation Know Which Guy to Stop. A successful night for Colorado in that regard.
It is, because we go back to Bedard, like it's a learning process, and this is a tough league to learn on the go. This league is deadly. It's unforgiving. It doesn't forgive when you make mistakes against usually good teams. Connor Bedard tonight played against the best duo in the NHL, right? Makar and Taves. It's arguably the best tandem that you're going to play against. And then you're going pretty much head-to-head against McKinnon and Rantanen, and it's a tough way to play a game. And there's 2 things you're learning is the kid's young. He's got to learn to play at this level. He's going to be outstanding. The Avs team is a different team than the Chicago team, right?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Very different.
The players that he's playing with, it's a little different. And then you're learning that this is a tough schedule. I mean, this was a tough game for the Blackhawks as well, right? With the 5th game on this road trip, and I know AJ said they stopped home, but even if you stop home, you stop home.
Hey, for a
you
day,
go,
I mean,
you
come
go
on.
for a day, you do a couple things, you get back on the plane, you go. It makes you understand how tough the travel in the NHL is, and people are going to tell me like, oh my God, he played in the Western Hockey League and they do those big bus rides. No, I get that. But when you're that good, you're going to play against, kids. You can, your play gets forgiven a little bit, and he's outstanding. But tonight, when you're playing against men, and I think RyJo just talked about it, on that goal, for example, that shorty, when he runs into Manson on the wall there, Manson's a man. And I tell you, it didn't go well for the power play for the Hawks and Connor Bedard on that play. And then next thing you know, LOC's on a breakaway. But that's a scheduled play. You know what I mean? Like, you're tired, you don't have a lot of legs, and you're facing a Greek god in the Avalanche, right? Because you're playing against Taze and Makar, and it's like, wow, it's not the same thing as last year. But I hear some Chicago fans getting down on Connor Bedard. Oh my Lord, this guy's gonna be outstanding. It just takes a little bit of time. This is a tough league, and the Avalanche are an outstanding opponent.
There's something I've heard from almost every single player that comes out of Canadian major juniors into the NHL, and they say, man, up here in the pros, nobody takes any shifts off. And you could see it on Bedard's face by the end of tonight, where he was like, these dudes are still coming at me. These guys are still trying to beat me on every single play.
That was the thing about the Miles Wood penalty in the third period that made me laugh, where it was like, this is not just the message to Connor Bedard, but this is a good example right here, fellas, of where you're trying to get to.
Yep.
And how far you still are from it. And the majority of these guys are not going to be part of that if they were to ever get back to that level.
Yep.
But to speak to Eric's point here of, they did those bus rides.
Yeah.
What's not at the end of that bus ride in the WHL?
Kill Makar.
Devon Taves and Kel Makar.
That's what I'm saying.
8 minutes of 5v5 time against them, and you're talking about 7 shot attempts.
Yep. It's
nothing. It's nothing. It's a joke, man. I mean, Tonight was like, this is what an elite hockey team looks like against a shitty hockey team.
But for Bedard, if you go back to Bedard again, and the Hawks, and the young Hawks, it's, the biggest word in the NHL, and I'm telling you, when guys get sent down from training camp or get sent to the American League or juniors, the biggest word they use, coaches, and the reality of it is a fact. It's the word consistency. If you're not consistent in this league, you're not going to last. So, and if you're not consistent as a team, you're not going to be at the top of the standings. So the Avalanche have learned the last few years how to play consistent, from their individual games to their team game to their special teams to their goaltending now. You got consistency, you're tough to beat. So now Connor Bedard plays, I don't know, in juniors, and you're not consistent one night, you'll get away from it. Not in the NHL. And that's what he's learning, and that's what he's going to learn. This kid's a smart kid. He's a smart hockey player. He'll figure it out. And over the years, he'll have a better supporting cast with him.
Yeah, and that's I think this is also a really good point of, like,
for sure.
Look, there's a lot of optimism around Chicago. Lucas Reichel was an exceptional AHL player who's still just trying to figure it out. Kevin Korchinski is going to be a top 4 defenseman when he's all grown up.
Yes.
These guys are teenagers. Connor Bedard is 18.
Yep.
Like, let's keep in mind here, when Cale Makar showed up and he was so special and he did all this crazy shit, it took him 2 years to get to the NHL.
Yep.
Now that's, some by choice, because he wanted to go and play a second year at UMass. But you see the difference that it makes with those guys that maybe take the extra year.
Yeah.
You're seeing it right now with Logan Cooley.
Yeah.
In Arizona. That guy is going to be awesome.
But he's got to get there.
It's a hard league to be a teenager in.
It's tough.
Because you're going against a Nathan McKinnon, who we look at as a demigod these days.
Yep.
In the midst of a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
A guy who really, it took
5
years
It took
to
him
figure
5
it out.
years for it to really click and for his game to take that step.
Yep.
And he's the rarity. It does not usually take players of his caliber 5 years.
Yep.
You look at Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is more the guy that fans should be expecting to see that kind of trajectory, where I think year 1 will be better because Hughes is the first guy to ever go USHL to NHL with the way that things are set up now.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time, but Bedard is a special talent. And tonight it's just like, look, you're a special talent. You're a hell of a hockey player. You've seen the flashes of it. And coming into this game, it was all the scoring chances and all the shots on goal and all the things that he had generated that hadn't turned into goals. And tonight, the man ran into the best team in hockey. For my money, I understand it's an Avalanche show and that's gonna come across as biased, but for my money, it's the best team in hockey.
Look, literally for my money tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. But when you have, and this is like that. This is what it does to teams when you have a top defensive pairing.
Yep.
It's why you don't give a shit about the last 3 years or whatever of Devon Taves' contract. You've got him now.
Yeah.
You've got a happy Devon Taves that is feeling good on a top pairing next to Cale Makar. And on any given night, yeah, Chicago sucks. And Taylor Hall's not a top-line player anymore.
Yep.
And Ryan Donato is barely an NHL player. And that guy's on the top line next to those two cats.
Yep.
So there's a long way to go. We're not talking about aces in the hole here. We're talking 3 years from now. This is going to be way different for Chicago. But right now, Chicago sucks.
Yep.
And if Connor Bedard has an off night, you get what you just got out of them.
Well, and that's exactly how the Avs treated him, too. And that's why I hit all my bets over at Bet365. Bet against Connor Bedard, bet against Chicago scoring a goal, even got a plus 2,500 on hitting the exact score correct. So maybe listen to my bets next time with Bet365. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. You can join Bet365 with the DNVR 365 code today.
Get it right one time and listen to him.
Look, all right, you don't hit 2,500 bets very often, all right?
That's
you got to
pretty
take
cool.
your dubs when you hit those. Don't do ordinary. Go over to Bet365. Get in on whatever your favorite sport is. Doesn't have to be hockey. It can be any of the major ones. It can even be some crazy thing that you've never heard of. Maybe you're like me and you're going to go home tonight and watch some Counter-Strike 2. Yeah, you can bet on that.
Actually, I'm not.
I
You know what
won't.
I'm going to go home and watch?
League?
Day 2 of the League
Yeah.
of Legends World Championships. I watched day 1 yesterday.
Yep.
That's why I was up till 4
I
o'clock in the
watched some of
morning.
that
My bad.
too.
Fantastic.
You also,
Even North America was fantastic last night. It was awesome.
so you also have the international going on for Dota right now. So plenty of esports action.
It's such a great time of year for sports and esports.
Everything's revving. Get in on it. Go over with Bet365. We also have a custom DNVR bet that you can get in on with Bet365. Make sure you sign up with that DNVR365 code. Of course, you must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Also brought to you by the folks over at Illegal Pete's. If you want delicious burritos, Illegal Pete's is the place to grab them here in Colorado. 11 different locations. They have happy hour from 3 to 8 p.m., so it's a great place to pregame if you're coming down to the bar to watch a game. Their ingredients are delicious. Their queso, absolutely delicious. Highly recommend you get in with Illegal Pete's while you can. Go find it near you. Enjoy your burritos. Enjoy your happy hours with Illegal Pete's. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. So I wanted to get into a couple of things here, but let's start with the goal taken away. Great play created from Jonathan Drouin to Miles Wood. And I think the thing AJ's slapping the chair about here is not that the goal got taken away. It was definitively offside. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
But
That's the right call.
we already talked about it with RyJo about how, you'd like to see the guys get going. Some of the ones who've had slower starts.
Yeah.
It felt like that was that moment for Jonathan Drouin with a great feed over to Miles Wood. And then it comes back off the board.
Yeah.
The other side of this is are we looking at this going forward? Do you think they keep Jonathan Drouin with that third line as it is?
What I liked about it, okay, is that for the first time, and I understand it's 4 games, right? So, like, when I say for the first time, it's not like, oh, we've been waiting for this, For the first time this season, Tomas Tatar looked like Tomas Tatar.
Sure.
When he got onto that top line next to those guys, his skill played wonderfully next to them. And caveat, it's Chicago, okay? That is the
Doesn't matter.
asterisk. That is the asterisk on every point that we should make tonight. It's Chicago, and I get that. But
You can only play the team you're against, though.
exactly, and we talked about how, Eric made this point about Drouin tonight against Chicago. It's a great night to build some confidence, whatever. It ended up applying for Tomas Tatar.
Yep.
And it sucks that it's a shame that it gets pulled off the board, right? It's the right call, all that. But what you like about it is that you get a proof of concept of two guys that want to go to the net and a playmaker that can make that kind of skill play
to get it to them at the net.
That you know, Colton just drops the puck to him. There's nothing special about this. And Drouin makes a perfect pass to Miles Wood, who's just doing what Miles Wood does, skating in a straight line
very quickly,
and just puts the stick out and chips it in. And you're looking at it going, if your third line's going to be capable of this shit, you love that.
Yep.
Yes.
That and hey, maybe this is the better, more appropriate role for Jonathan Drouin.
Well,
But it's not that it's been bad on that top line. I don't believe that it has been. But if you're going to find that balance a little bit, and if you find chemistry with a third guy next to
it's
McKinnon and Rantanen,
I
roll
would,
with that, man.
I would actually argue that it's more important in finding chemistry with the guy next to Wood and Colton. Because McKinnon and Rantanen, if you have them together, they're going to be fine. No matter who that third guy is.
Yeah. It's true. Well, and you always have the ace in the hole of Arturi Lehkonen.
Yeah, just throw him back there. Yeah, exactly.
Anytime you want.
He loves to put him there, too.
Anytime you want, that guy is like, yeah, I'll play next to those guys. Yeah, we'll kick a bunch of ass together.
I guess it's
what
okay.
they do.
Well, and here's kind of where I want to continue this conversation. One, first of all, Val Nichushkin, holy cow, is he driving that second line?
Yeah.
I mean, absolute monster. But you push that through and you're going, look, McKinnon and Rantanen, you knew you were going to love this year. Nichushkin has figured out how to be the play driver on that second line.
Yep.
You're in love with that. RyJo finally getting on the board tonight. Awesome. Lecky is Lecky. You more or less know what you're going to get out of him. So you 5 of your top 6, you're going, yeah, we're cruising. We're feeling it right now.
Yeah.
And you have one spot that you're tinkering with. That's fine.
You're talking the one spot you're tinkering with is like the most plum job in the NHL.
Right. Everybody in the world will be like, boy, I'd love that job.
Yeah, the only other job in the NHL that compares is the one next to Draisaitl and McDavid when they actually play together.
Well, there's a trust factor, too, right, with the coach. You know he trusts Mikko and Nate, right? And whoever, Lecky or whatever, it doesn't matter. You know that, like you just said, he's a big fan of Val, right? There's a trust factor there. And whoever Val plays with usually ends up having a good game too, right?
Yeah.
And then let's get to the third line in a second. But I mean, you listen to him this morning, there's a trust factor right now with Cogliano.
For sure.
LOC and Olofsson at 5-on-5. Again, tonight, they drew a penalty. They were down there for a minute.
Great
All of a sudden,
offensive
it was
zone
awesome.
shifts,
Yeah. And then now you're talking about, I'm going back to your question of production. Like, yeah, there was an offside. Yeah, there was a goal taken away. You're talking about what? Millimeters?
Yep.
You know, somewhere, somehow, they still produced a goal there in my book. It didn't count on the scoreboard in their book, on the coach's book. They're like, okay, maybe there is something there between Shakespeare's, AJ Shakespeare and Wood. And I love Wood. I mean, I told you this summer, he's a north-south player, no nonsense. He just goes.
I loved what you said during the watch along though. There's not even a south.
No, it's just north. It just goes
north.
Whoop, and
That
it's
is
reckless.
it.
I love it. And then, sometimes you'll get, like, oops, I run into the goalie. I love that, by the way.
He's a car that only drives straight, man.
Yeah,
It's
I do.
awesome.
And then he puts his stick down. And if a guy like Drouin can find a guy like that, and Colton's just a pain in my butt. Like, this guy's a pain in the butt to play against. And all of a sudden, you're line number 1, you're line number 2, you're line number 3, you're line number 4. You haven't
Not
been
a
this
whole
deep
lot of holes
in a
in that
long
lineup,
time.
yeah.
I mean, this is like, it's pretty nice to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's wonderful
and again,
to watch.
And I know we talk about their decoy all the time. It's awesome. And yeah, I know the third pair sometimes, whatever. Somehow they're pretty good as a 6-man decor.
When it's funny, like you could be big mad about that third pairing needs to be better or whatever, but then you see them against a team
and
like
they
this.
look fine. Yeah.
They were fine against San Jose. They were fine tonight. Yeah, are you worried about them in a playoff series against Vegas? Sure,
Probably.
but you have 78 more games that you need to play.
But on a random Thursday in the middle of the regular season, they're just fine.
yeah, absolutely.
And the one other thing I do want to touch on here very quickly in the second period. Credit to the Avs. As a team, we've known that they've been capable of this for a couple of years. But we've seen already what happens this year. When you score a goal like that, it comes off the board. Look at Toronto versus Montreal on opening night or whatever
That's right.
it was.
That's a good point.
Where it completely changes the complexion of the game.
Yeah.
That goal comes off the board, and the Avs keep playing the exact same way they had been playing up to that point.
They just scored again.
Yeah, they just continue to dominate Chicago. They get the goal again, and it counts.
It's that championship culture. That's what it is.
One last point that I just want really quickly about that Drouin on that third line, and Eric saying that maybe a guy like maybe Drouin is better served playing on a line like that. I almost think that he might be, because a guy with that level of vision and passing ability, if he knows that one of his line mates, we're joking about Wood can only skate in one direction, but if he knows that he's got a guy that is always just going to go to the net, and all he has to do is feather passes through traffic to a guy, and that guy's stick is going to be there more often than not, it might serve that guy really well, because we know that the one thing that he does at a very high level is pass the puck to teammates.
Yep.
So Jonathan Drouin, it might pop with him, and when Ross Colton's real offense actually starts to come around, because right now we're seeing a lot of like little things out of Ross Colton, where the offense, where he's really driving play, and I think some of this is an adjustment to him playing center full time.
For sure.
Because he moved around so much in Tampa, and he was on their skill line so much that it might better serve him as well to have a guy as talented as Drouin that can get him pucks.
Yep.
Because he's never been a puck transporter. It's not his thing. It's never been.
Yeah.
He's never been a great transition player. So having a guy like that can skate pucks in and out and move it like that, it might be they just might be better served. With that kind of configuration, it might work for all of them. And Miles Wood is just like, hell yeah! Was a healthy scratch in the postseason, and now I'm playing next to these guys. Let's go.
I mean, look, I know we all love to sit here and be armchair GMs, armchair coaches, whatever it is, but sometimes you say, "Hey, passy guy. Hey, shooty guy."
It worked
Go.
for the Sedins for 15 years. You literally had Passy Sedin and Shooty Sedin, and they made it work, man. You put them together, and you had like the third best player of all time.
And I still don't know the difference between the two of
Yeah,
them.
I have no idea. You asked me which one was Passy and which
I have
one was
no
Shooty.
idea.
I have no freaking
22
idea.
and 33 is all I know.
I
but
couldn't
they were
even tell them
phenomenal.
apart from their third brother who didn't even play hockey.
Sergio Sedin.
He's the religiosity. But honestly, Colorado is a very good hockey team, and they treated Chicago like a very bad hockey team, and this is the result that comes from a game like that. Anyway, as we continue moving forward
know
through this
what?
game,
I boo you.
You drive Gazzle back.
I'll do it. I'll follow you home.
that's
turn
not
around and drive
terrifying at all. Is that what they were saying to Connor Bedard tonight?
Yeah.
We're coming,
Remember the
bud.
kid at the start of the game? Show the new kid what's up. They sure did. Yeah, I mean, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, honestly, like, and I think as a child, you need
that's
to
a
get,
ton.
sure. As a child, you need to get beat up. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he got beat up tonight.
All right. Thank you for the 100 likes, chat. We do appreciate it. We're doing winner shots here.
Yeah. We forgot to
Cheers.
tell you that this was a thing.
Cheers.
100 likes on the post-game pods.
Gets us
Oh,
a
nice.
gets us a winner shot when the Avs win, at the very least. Just another prescription from Dr. Dubs. That's all that is right there.
Dr. Dub's a good guy.
Jaeger tastes great. What are you talking about?
Medicine tastes great. Makes you feel better.
I'm gonna allow it. No.
Look,
Go ahead.
I take 5 pills a day, brother. I don't taste any of them.
And you look at this team, and like I'm gonna be honest, the third period, they let their foot off the gas a little bit for sure because they could afford to. They put themselves in a position.
Sort of, man.
I know the numbers are still good, but you look at the last 10 minutes of that hockey game, and they kind of just.
Any idea for what shots on goal were in the third period? Just shots on goal, no 5v5, none of that. Just shots on goal.
11-4.
You have a guess?
10-3. I don't remember.
8-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gave up 3 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Now, again, you are dealing with a tired Chicago team at the end of a long road trip, getting the shit kicked out of them, and they're overmatched to begin with. Yeah. So it's fine that they kind of
Well, and,
pack it in this one.
yeah.
The Avs are fine too.
Yep.
Because they have the PKs. Send it back out there. We'll see if they can build any momentum, whatever. No, it just doesn't happen.
You had in the 70s, like what, the Philly flu, right? You know what I mean? Guys were so scared to play the Flyers and, you know, because they were so tough. But I tell you one thing, on the third period like today, I call that the Colorado flu. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to get out there. You're on the bench and you're looking at the clock and you're like, you know what? It's 4-0 right now. I'm even. I don't want to get out there and get a minus. Maybe I'm not good right now. Maybe my skate blade is just not working. I need to change my blades or something, you know? You just don't want to get out there. And that's why you get 3 shots like that, because you're just so, like, done. I want to get on the plane. I want to go home. And this is a beat down I took tonight. And I'm just like... Yeah, all right. I learned a lot, and great. Next, move on to the next game. Home opener against Vegas Saturday, great. Because you're not thinking about playing in the third right now. You're not. You're just like
your mind is elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're going home. You know what I mean?
Well, so we talked about you were mentioning it that youthful exuberance at morning skate today. Those guys are just sitting around. They're not looking forward to getting to the hotel room to take a nice little afternoon nap. They just want to get out there and play. They don't know how to eat in the NHL. They don't know how to sleep in the NHL. They don't know how to live in the NHL.
Yeah.
And part of living in the NHL is just getting the holy shit kicked out of you by good teams.
Absolutely.
On a night where it's just not happening for you, where it's a good night for them, it's a bad night for you, and that talent disparity gets a little bit bigger.
And you got to learn how to get through that. Yep.
Because you're playing to the bottom of your level, and they're playing close to the top of theirs. This is not just talent. I mean, this is a little bit of just getting wailed on.
Yeah.
This league is unforgiving. It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. When you hear those blue line turnovers, it is. Like the puck's in your net. You know, this league is too good. Players are too good. And championship caliber teams are too good. And they just feast on things like that, you know?
And here's kind of the ace in the hole for this game is, yes, the Avs housed them. Yes, they played great. And anytime it felt like, hey, maybe Chicago can make a play and get back into this, there's a friggin' brick wall standing in the Avs net.
Man, because of the shots on goal and because of the general domination of the game, it will get lost a little bit that this was an easy shutout for Georgiev. He makes the, I'll say 4 or 5 saves that really kind of pushed him a little bit.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, he's given up 4 goals in 4 games. The guy
it's outrageous.
He looks awesome right now.
Yeah, and I raised my hat. I said in one of the 3 keys, the schedule. It's a tough schedule game today. It is. I don't care what people say. People will tell you that I've been in those situations. It's a tough game.
8:30 local games are not
and
normal.
You're coming home after a road trip, and you get home at 4 a.m. I don't care who you play. It's a tough night. And I raise my hat to the coaching staff and to the team, and then obviously to Georgiev. Get them going in the start. And then they just kept rolling with it because that's a tough task tonight. That was a tough task. Yep. And I thought they got a 10 out of 10 on it.
We've talked about the unique challenge of playing behind this Avalanche team that's different for some goalies.
Yeah. A lot of time without seeing any pucks.
Yeah, we used to joke that Philip Grubauer could set up the beach chair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, with the drinks with the umbrellas in them,
Put
drinking
some
straight out of a coconut.
Yeah,
you know, like and set up the umbrella and just hang out, get some R&R. And we asked him about it a few times when he was still here, and he said, yeah, it can be harder because you're not into a rhythm. When you see the Connor Ingram and Mackenzie Blackwoods, everybody's always like, oh my God, this guy's having the night of his life against us. How is it that this always happens against us or whatever? But when the goalie gets into a rhythm, these guys are really freaking good. When they get into that rhythm and they're seeing the puck all the time, you're sharp, you're focused. And in the case of Georgiev, we were talking about it during the watch along, that when a guy doesn't see shots on goal for a while, the first one that he sees is going to be point blank. He has to be ready for it. That's the job in the NHL. And when you're behind a good team, you need to be able to win that mental battle. And one of the more impressive aspects of Georgiev in Colorado specifically to this point is that he has consistently been good in these types of games. It's not that they run down the ice and there's 2 goals against, Yep.
But if you look,
it's just really impressive that Georgiev, they find a guy that they can scout all the things they want about a goaltender. You have no idea how that guy is going to react in a system in a situation like this until he's in it.
And
Georgiev has looked up to that task.
I'll compare him to the great Marty Brodeur. all those teams in Jersey, they were giving up 23, 24 shots a night. And people were saying, oh, the trapped. That's for a different story another night. They were way better offensively than people gave them credit for, but they didn't.
You mean the
give
highest
up.
scoring team in the NHL in 2001?
But people talk about the trap, and it's
Yeah.
like, really, they were number one. Again, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, you read my mind, but defensively, they gave up 22, 23, 24 shots a night. Marty Brodeur had to be sharp.
Yep.
And he had to be sharp. Like you're talking about your point on Georgiev. He did that for so many years, and I see Georgiev doing this. It's not, hey, listen, it's not easy. Blackwood the other night against the Avs, it's easier. It's easier to get bombarded, and you feel good about your game.
you've
And
made
every
30
2
saves
seconds,
in a row, what's 31,
It's
right?
like, who cares? You're feeling good about yourself, and where tonight, like you saw, he gets busy a little bit at the start. Then my God, he could have sat down, like you said, with a chair and just hang out, and nothing much against him, but. You got to be ready. You got to be sharp. And I think it's a mental game. It's a mental game that he's doing, and he's getting better at it. And that's why you see young goaltenders need to go play in the American League and learn to do those
Face some
things and
shots.
face some shots and face nights where you don't get shots and, where you're tired and 3 games and 3 nights on the bus and play with that mind and, break it down in your head and each period and each little 5-minute increments and just play a little game. There's a lot of games, and you got to do that as a forward, as a D. There's a lot of games within the game, and the older you get, the more you get experience. You feel good about your game, and that's why we're saying I'm going back to Bedard. It was so fun to watch this morning because it's like a kid in a candy store. He's just sitting there and he's like, "I'm in the NHL. This is great."
Do you ever had what happened to Bedard tonight happen to you? The double crunch.
Oh yeah, from Wood and
Wood
of
and
course,
Colton, yeah.
Wood guys didn't really pay attention to me, so it's fine. But I like that tonight. They were showing Woody and was it Ross Colton
Yeah,
that
it was
ran into him?
Colton,
Yeah. They're we don't care who you are. This is the NHL. This is a tough night, And then I think Jack Johnson gave him a little ribbing in the corner, and then Manson gives him to him. It's not an easy night, and the Avalanche are not the most physical team, but they're the fastest team, and right now they're showing us that they will run into you. They'll play any way you want to play, and they're going to be victorious on a lot of nights. So it's fun.
Well, if you've ever had 2 guys run into you at the same time, you might be dating guys, or you might need Bacchus and Shanker. Call 222-2222 today.
Fuck, man.
Or go to colorado.net.
This is how we lose sponsors.
But no, seriously, if you've been injured, if a guy ran into you with his car or something, legitimate.
Euphemism?
It's whatever you want it to be, big boy. If you've been in a car accident or some kind of injury where it's not your fault, Bacchus and Shanker will have your back. You can get a free consultation by calling the 2 number or going to coloradolaw.net. They will take care of you. If they think you have a case, they will take your case on. You don't pay anything until you win your case. So be sure to get over with Bacchus and Shanker today, even if it's been something like you got injured at work. Like I'm injuring both of my co-hosts tonight. They can call Bacchus and Shanker on me. Check them out. They just want to win you money. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. Call the 2 number. Go to coloradolaw.net today. And then, since you're here on the YouTube channel, check out our Colorado Rapids show. Their season is winding down and over, and they're recapping everything. Probably talking about Lionel Messi a lot, too, given the year that's gone on in the MLS. So go check out our Rapids show. Our boys, Yaya, Mitch, and Dwayne would really appreciate it if you take a look at them. Have a good time. Enjoy some soccer too, since the Avs schedule is a little bit all over the place and sporadic through October. You should have some extra time anyway. Okay. 3rd period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast.
What the fuck do you even say after that?
You go to the Superchats. That's what you do.
Oh, that's funny.
That was a super chat.
It was not. Which one are we doing first? $5 from the Walrus himself, saying kudos to Eric for the bowling balls line nickname, with a nice sneaky pun about Wood in the watch along. The DNVR watch along is a blast. Yeah, we watch along most games. If you guys didn't know,
I'll tell you, the watch alongs have been really fun.
They have been good ones this
Obviously,
year.
it helps they go 4-0 and everybody's kind of vibing, but
having good times with it.
It has been a lot of fun.
$5 from Dookie Shoes, who says Georgie's a stud, Bedard is a dud.
Just Dookie Shoes is so funny.
Yeah,
Man.
it's a good one.
It's such a funny reference to a Tom Segura bit.
And then $20 from Austin, who didn't leave a comment. I don't know if you can leave one if you're still around. Say something, and we'll put it on here. But thank you very much for the $20, Austin. Getting through the rest of this game, you kind of already alluded to it with Tatar on that top line. It clicks with Nathan MacKinnon. He puts one in the back of the net to make it 4-0 in the third period.
Looked great, man. First 3 games, I really didn't like him at all, and he immediately clicks
I don't know
with
if
those guys.
I would say I didn't like him, but he didn't do much.
I didn't like him.
Okay, fair enough.
Not at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, on that play, it sounds a little stupid, but watch the replay. It's a 4-0 game. McKinnon's not the biggest Sally guy, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
But he turns around and he points at him like, hey, I like that play.
I want to play with this guy.
I'm telling ya.
He's not pointing to him because he's telling him, good job. He's pointing to him telling Bednar,
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
staying here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. He's like, hey, I like that play. You gave it to me. You know what I mean? Guys like that want the puck, right? You play with guys like that, you got to give them the puck. You know what I mean? And I was right there. He finds it in the open slot there. He finds a way to give it to him. Boom, guy scores. And then he just gives it to him like, yeah, you're the man. For me, that's telling. So we'll see what happens, but that was telling.
Also, if you can get to McKinnon to more than 2 goals before December, you might have the magic touch. So it's a thing. It's a thing with
That was
me.
a nice shot.
That's all I'm saying is it's a thing. No, but honestly, it felt like a good game, especially with the schedule that's coming up for Colorado. Look, they get Carolina in a couple nights. I guess one night because it's tomorrow already. But and I know Carolina hasn't been a.
It's never tomorrow. It's only
fucking-
ever today.
All right, what's Shirley Temple? Is that
Tomorrow
what
never
that show is?
dies.
What?
I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now it's not game day, even though we're still doing a post game pod.
Well, it's never game day pod or not game day pod.
Oh, boy.
No, we're moving on. My point being,
No.
Carolina, their next game up, and I know Carolina hasn't been great so far this year.
Gave up 7 tonight.
But is there a little bit of do the Avs get a little bit of an extra edge? Because they didn't have to go full bore in the third period tonight.
Oh, absolutely you conserve energy in a game like this. Absolutely. Hey, listen, tomorrow it's more like a regular day, practice day, right? And then you get ready for Saturday. But, hey, listen, Carolina, I mean, AJ calls them the best defense in the NHL all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look at their games, the last 4 or 5 games, there's been 10, 11, 9 goals for. I'm talking about combined. That's on, it's not the way Rob Brindamore wants his team, I think, to play. So I think you should expect, again, if you're going to
motivated Carolina
you know what I mean?
team, yeah.
Like we always say that you don't want to play an angry dog. I do believe they're going to be an angry dog. They're on a road trip too. This is their 5th game, I believe, of a 6-game road trip.
Yeah, they're on a tough road trip.
They're
too.
a tough road trip. If I'm the Avs, and go after them, and again, I don't know. It would be suiting to bet the over, I guess, because every game has been going so high. But then again, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the Avs can play any way they want. It'll be an interesting game. But like I said, Carolina is just in the track meets right now. Every game they go to right now, it's been a little crazy.
Well, and as you said, Brindamore's not going to like that.
No.
That's not how they want to play.
No.
And I'm sorry, but you give up 7 to Seattle and 6 to Anaheim.
Yeah.
I don't unless a large number of those are empty net goals, something's wrong there. Yeah, whether it's the defense, because I honestly haven't looked. I don't know if their defense is doing what it normally does, and it's just bad goaltending, or if the defense just hasn't locked in yet. Whatever it is,
Sure.
Tonight
that
was 7.
that has not been great for
No,
them.
it's been bad, honestly.
Yeah, well, they and it took 4 third-period goals for them to beat San Jose.
Yep.
5 to there's a lot
Not
of
sustainable
goals.
types of hockey, for
Yeah,
sure.
like this is not what the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be this year. That is a brutal schedule to start a season for an East Coast team. The upside is as soon as it's over, they don't have to do it again. It's done.
They do it once.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about this anymore. But for now, you think they're excited to get here? No.
They're ready to be done with
They're
this
going to
trip.
get here God knows what hour.
Oh, it's the Avs 2 days ago. It's 4 in the morning in your bed at the hotel.
Yeah, and except it's in the hotel and not at home. And they just have not played very well, and they're on a long road trip, and they're gonna be really tired and worn out as they near the end of it. Eric, you know this. Any road trip longer than about 3 games, you start seeing diminishing returns.
Yep.
As it goes on. It's one reason why last year when the Avs had that 4-game road trip through Canada, Toronto and Ottawa and all those, Montreal,
Just kind of wrote off the end of that.
yeah,
thing.
and we were like, hey, look, you don't really care that much how this thing ends, and they ended up going perfect on it, and it's really, really, really hard to gear it up, even for a team like a Colorado. It's really hard to gear it up when you're that tired and you're on the road and you're, then you do have whatever effects altitude are going to play into it. It's going to make it that much worse.
Yep.
So the Avs, schedule-wise, have had a little bit of an advantage here, in that they're going to get 2 teams that this is the trade-off of them barely getting to play at home this month, is that these first 2 games they're playing exhausted teams coming into Denver.
Yep.
I mean, look at their 5 games this year. First game, 8 total goals. Second game, 11 total goals. Then 9, 9, and 11. I mean, that's their 5 games played this year.
Well,
That's a lot of goals.
So on Saturday night, 1-0.
yeah, it's right.
That's what I'm trying. You would think it's like a 15-goal game, but then it's the opposite, right?
And it's a little bit of the same thing we talked about against Seattle with these guys, right? Don't be the get-right team.
Yeah.
Keep that team down.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make their problems worse.
Yep.
Carolina was the get-right team for the Kraken tonight.
They sure were.
A team that has struggled to score goals just had 7 tonight. So
just do that, and you'll be good.
yeah, just do that indeed.
Any other guys you wanted to touch on specifically tonight? We didn't really talk about Taves, who did finish that play on Nichushkin's goal. AJ, what was the numbers on the stat you were telling us before the show?
Since he joined the Avalanche, he has 115 even strength points, which is the second most in the NHL behind Erik Karlsson, who has
Pretty
116.
Good. 1 point behind.
Pretty
good.
even strength stats.
Seems good, pal.
So, you know how valuable it is to have a defenseman that consistently produces a high number of even strength points? You don't have to feed him power play time. Because, when you look at the point totals of the Tyson Berries and the Shane Gostisbeheres and Tony DeAngelo's.
And dude has a 50-point year but has 25 power play
exactly.
points.
Those guys usually get fat off of those. And, the Cale Makars, Quinn Hughes,
Totally.
Adam Fox, those guys are so freaking good that they get so many points at both. But with Devon Taves, it's predominantly even strength by a wide margin.
Yep.
And that's pretty valuable.
Take it and run with it, as they say.
Yeah. And goal and an assist tonight.
Yep.
You have a handful of guys with 2 points tonight. Tatar, Rantanen, and Taves.
Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that easy. Any final thoughts, or we'll get out of here?
I'm good.
All right. It's too late. We finally get back to reasonably normal timed hockey games for a little while after this. And then we have a matinee coming up in like a week. But
I'm really excited. The 11 a.m. in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Sunday.
All of that. Just sign me up. Weird hockey.
Yep. I'm here
Get some
for it.
chicken wings. Buffalo wings.
We
should eat only wings that
Ooh,
day.
that'd be fun. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We are going to get out of here for today. We are back at our normal time tomorrow, 2 p.m. Be sure to tune into that one. And then we got another game Saturday to cover for you. So go follow us at DNVR.com. Megan's post-game piece is probably coming up pretty soon here. I'm not sure how many people she interviewed today, but lots more content to come tonight or when you get up in the morning, let's be honest. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.